All passengers, the next train is the Freedom Train Express stop. The next train is the Freedom Train.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to ask everyone on the train to go into silence. That is a simple instruction. Welcome aboard the Emancipation Freedom Ride train. We are so happy that you are here tonight. The question right now is, why are you aboard this train? What is in your heart and what is in your thinking?
Happy Emancipation Day. This is your Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. I have to say it is a deep, deep honor for me to be able to join you on this 10th anniversary of the Underground Freedom Train. It is a moment to reflect and to celebrate. A moment to reflect on all those who came before, all those who fought for freedom, all those who have continued to inspire us every day to do more, to stand up stronger, to be better allies, to celebrate the journey we are on as a country. Not because we are perfect, but because we commit ourselves every day to do better. Standing up against anti-black racism, standing up against anti-black racism.
It was announced on Tuesday, we're recording this on a Tuesday, that Canada will allow visa-free travel to known travelers, emphasis, from 13 countries, are the countries that have known travelers that they've allowed into Canada visa-free.
Yes, sir.
Philippines.
You just made the list.
Morocco.
You just made the list.
Panama.
You just made the list.
Antigua and Barbuda.
You just made the list.
St. Kitts and Nevis.
You just made the list.
St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina, Costa Rica, Uruguay, Seychelles. I didn't even know that was a country. Seychelles. Thailand. All of these countries.
You just made the list.
You know which country never made this list?
Jamaica.
Jamaica did not make the list.
Why?
I feel away.
Wow.
Japan. We next. Japan.
You just made the list.
Oh, God. Not Jamaica.
Wow. So what are our thoughts? Care or don't care?
Surprise.
Surprise. A lot of Jamaicans, as you can imagine, probably feel a way about this how I go on, because it's almost like Canada has become Jamaica B.
No.
Or Jamaica Plus.
No.
Jamaica second.
New York. Miami.
Of course, but Canada has.
I wouldn't even say, because I won't say the entire America, but these countries.
Canada's culture.
Yeah, there's a part of Canada that is Jamaica.
That is damn near Jamaica.
Yeah.
Against unconscious bias, against systemic discrimination, requires all of us to be awake, to be present, to be listening. It is a privilege for me to be able to join on this journey and to reflect on all the work we need to do together. C'est un moment célébré, un moment de réfléchir, et surtout un moment de se connaître tous et chacun à bâtir un monde meilleur avec compassion et respect les uns des autres. It's a time to recommit ourselves to the ideals of this country and know that this country has not always been fair or equal to all its people. This country has not always been fair or equal to all its people. And as we commit ourselves to better, let us be inspired by the beautiful words, the leaders, the activists, the voices, and the memories that guide us on this journey. Thank you all. Happy Emancipation Day. Thank you all. Happy Emancipation Day.
Many are waiting in anticipation for the historic ceremony, but some say the traditional pomp and circumstance can also be a reminder of the British Empire and its colonial past. Our Deborah Roberts is in London with more.
As Charles ascended the throne last September, across the globe, several of the 14 Commonwealth realms showed their support for their new head of state. From Canada,
long live the King,
to the Bahamas,
God save the King,
and Australia.
God save the King.
But not all are rejoicing in the Commonwealth.
It is this symbol of white supremacy. It is this link to the colonial era.
The Crown's history of colonialism cutting deep in countries like Jamaica.
I don't see what they are doing for us here in Jamaica,
where some say the wealth of the former empire was built on the backs of those it once enslaved.
That wealth is something we never shared in. So for us in Jamaica, the monarchy is a harsh reminder of our unfortunate past.
In the Caribbean, you would have a thriving plantation industry based on sugarcane and coffee and cotton and cocoa and indigo. The one thing missing at the time was bananas, because in the age of sail, you could not import bananas fast enough to Europe. This would only come with the age of steamship and refrigeration in the late 19th century. Of all these items, sugar was by far the most profitable. Back then, you did not have sugar beet. You did not have high fructose corn syrup. So if you wanted sugar, you had to get it from sugar cane, and most of that cane was produced either in Brazil or the Caribbean. Sugar was like the oil of the 18th century. It was a rare and valuable commodity that was the centerpiece of the multi-continent industry. Relatively tiny islands were immensely valuable. When France lost the Seven-Year War in 1763, for example, it had to surrender territory to the British, either Louisiana and Canada, which is to say the bulk of North America today, or the tiny islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique. Which ones do you think France picked? France preserved Guadeloupe and Martinique, which are still French today. That's the reason I was born in a French island, and then gave away Louisiana and Canada, which is why I live in Louisiana, which is part of the United States today.
What about the ripple effect? What was the ripple effect?
Well, the ripple effect was twofold. One, Britain became wealthy. There's no better example of the wealth displayed in the country than you'll see in the coronation. And then the flip side of that is you also have poverty. Most people live in conditions which are just as bad as they were 100 years ago under the British Empire. So the legacy of the empire is deep poverty in the black and brown parts of the world and wealth in the white part of the world.
In recent years, the monarchy has started to publicly acknowledge its imperial past. Last spring, Charles and Camilla visiting Canada, where he reflected on the United Kingdom's treatment of the indigenous people there.
We must find new ways to come to terms with the darker and more difficult aspects of the past, acknowledging, reconciling, and striving to do better.
Barbados was the latest country to sever its ties to the monarchy, declaring itself a republic in 2021, removing the Queen as its head of state. Charles attending its transition ceremony and speaking about slavery on the island.
From the darkest days of our past and the appalling atrocity of slavery, which forever stains our history,
Jamaica now considering following suit. Its Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, had a blunt message for Prince William when he visited last year.
We are moving on, and we intend to fulfill our true ambitions and destiny as an independent, developed, prosperous country.
An apology from the king could come with a steep cost. Some Caribbean countries calling for reparations to right the wrongs of the past.
He stopped short of apologizing.
Yeah.
Should he?
Well, it'd be nice if he apologized. Once you apologize, that means you're saying you're guilty of something, and then people can call for reparations. So I'll be very surprised if he apologizes, because it opens up the royal family to be sued for millions of pounds.
You all happy in that situation?